Hello, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Logging Off podcast. I'm here with my gracious co-host, who really loves scratches. Okay, so he's a little shy, but he is here, just is a little not lacking. He's lacking some awareness about where the camera is. So what are your hobbies? I've heard you've been known to chew grass and drink from the sink from time to time. Is it true? Cut the cameras. So who's that?
This is Asher.
This is your baby?
He's a little baby.
Do cats count as a hobby?
Yeah, they do actually. He's really sleepy right now.
I know. This is
Oh, there he goes.
It's 4 p.m. as we're recording this, and this is typically their nap time. By nap time, I mean they sleep for like 4 hours before dinner. Ask me if I'm more excited to drink my liquid death or film the podcast.
Are you more excited to drink or film? Drink your liquid death or film?
We film the podcast, but this is a very close second. Welcome back to the Logging Off podcast, episode 3.
Episode 3.
Thank you for the love on episode 2. It was a bit longer than I think we're aiming for on our regular podcast, so we're going to try to keep it to an hour. But yeah, thank you for your comments.
Spro drink spro.
Huh?
Spro drink spro.
Wow, that's so meta. Why does it smell like chocolate? It smells like chocolate in the kitchen today.
Because it's from South America, and a lot of South American coffees typically are more like darker flavored. Darker as in like chocolate, bitter.
What about like berries and stuff?
Like a raspberry or like a cherry.
See, I always thought that coffee... I thought that when coffee bags would say it has like notes of chocolate, raspberry, hazelnut, whatever, that was like something they infused into the roasting process.
No.
I didn't know that was like, this bean roasted smells like XYZ.
Wait, did you just learn that now?
No. Well, I learned that from you.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I never drank coffee, so I didn't really
No, it's like,
care.
I think it's just typically like the soil of the land that it's coming from. And I think that, I think that there's different types of coffee fruits. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, just
really?
dependent. I feel like I'm wrong about that, but I also feel like I've heard that.
Well, soil makes a difference.
But I know definitely
Absolutely.
just like the soil and like
In the climate.
and it's so different everywhere. And like African beans, you get a lot more like sweeter, lighter flavors. So like you'll get like more fruity.
I see.
You might get like apple, citrusy type stuff.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I thought that was just like a stylistic choice or something.
No, it's up to the regions. It doesn't mean that those regions are exclusive to those types of flavors, but I think it's more like you're more likely to find these types of flavors.
Notes.
Flavor notes from these regions.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I know in America we don't really have the climate to grow coffee, but I think in Santa Barbara they're trying to grow coffee. But apparently it's crazy expensive though.
Really? Well,
yeah,
it's Santa Barbara.
And well,
just in general.
It's not even. Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's like not necessarily that. It's the fact that they have to like manipulate so much to try to get climate that's acceptable to the coffee fruit.
I see. Man. So is it more like, sorry, maybe we should introduce like the casual topic of today's podcast.
Yeah, because I mean, we're already talking about it.
We're talking about hobbies, things that we do. I mean, we're both content creators, so our hobbies naturally slip into our content as it is happening at this very moment.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of logging off and taking a breather and being participants in the world outside of just our online life, We want to bring you in a little bit to the things that we love and care about that may not make it to the screen very often. And all of the things that entails. So coffee is a hobby and a love that you've had for a long time that has grown and expanded.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate the smells, which is why I bring up that it smelled like chocolate in the kitchen this morning, but I don't drink it.
Should I give you my coffee history? I don't think I've ever told you my coffee history.
You never told me?
Yeah, like
Baylor?
From the beginning.
Yeah.
So, my good friend in high school, we used to go to Starbucks every day after school and study. And to be fair, he was a lot more harder worker than I am. So it
just like in general, or?
Yeah. So it was like him going because he had
I see.
siblings at home and
I see.
Like they were like his siblings, or no, sorry, they were a niece and nephew, and they're significantly younger than he is.
Okay.
And so he was also the man of his house. So like.
So he went to study and achieve, and you went for
and
vibes.
I went to like hang out. Yeah, hang out. I mean, I would study because, I mean, he was just tandem. A lot more of a focused person than I am, and cared a lot more about school and success in school.
Not that me for real.
Yeah, not that I didn't, but I just not to like toot my own horn, but I was able to like fly through high school without
much effort.
My
dad was like that.
And graduate with like a 3.5. I mean, if I would have put my effort into it, I probably could have graduated over a 4. And then, anyways, get to college and then drop out. But anyways, so we would go to Starbucks every day after school, and we'd hang out. And
what drink did you get? What was your go-to?
Honestly, it was probably just like a matcha frap or a vanilla bean frap.
So you've been a matcha frap lover.
Yeah.
Since then.
Yeah. Their vanilla bean frap is pretty good too.
I remember drinking the vanilla bean a ton because I didn't drink coffee, and I wasn't really into tea yet either. So vanilla bean was just like it was just a vanilla shake.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for
me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
we've moved on to bigger and better things than Starbucks since then.
So we go all the time, and then he got a job there. So, I mean, I would go like hang out while he was working, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then naturally, like that just led him and I both into getting into coffee, like kind of exploring, especially since he got a job at Starbucks. So, we would just like, I don't think we necessarily knew what like specialty third wave coffee was at the time, but that's essentially what we'd end up finding. And there was a couple mom and pop shops in the city that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And then there's one in particular, I would say probably the first specialty coffee shop that we ever went to was House Roots. And
oh my gosh, I forgot about House Roots.
That was when they were like
they were cool.
That was when they were renting out like a church foyer.
Yes, I remember going there.
Yeah. And so
that was probably my first exposure to like, I wouldn't say third wave, but like 2.5.
Yeah. No, they're third wave.
Oh, are they?
House Roots, yeah, they're third wave for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, so then eventually him and I went to the same college. I only went for a semester. And then he stuck around and then left. And then we naturally just kind of had parted ways. And then I got reconnected with a friend, Nate. And we had like grown up together, and then we hadn't seen each other in years. And when we saw each other again, we didn't recognize each other. And it was only...
Really?
Yeah, it was only through like sharing our life story with each other. Where we realized, like, oh my gosh, like
it sounds like an anime.
Yeah, well, and he said that I had seemed familiar, but he wasn't able to place it. And I'm a little bit younger than he is. And this was like when we were kids. So he's going to have a little bit of a fresher memory on that than I did. So anyway, so then one of the ways that we hung out, and I think it's just our gate.
Okay. Sorry, it was a crash somewhere.
So yeah, one of the ways that we hung out, or I'm sorry, I should say he worked in like a cafe in LA, and that naturally led him to exploring third wave coffee and stuff. And he's just somebody who like really appreciates excellence. And so
yes.
Yeah, he I had known about House Roots, he had known about House Roots, so we connected on that. And House Roots had kind of like jumped around to like different locations until they finally got their brick and mortar. But then he put me on to like a bunch of other different shops. And so
gosh, what is going on? We don't live in a duplex, so if there's a crash, it's like it's probably our house or it's our cats or something.
So one of the ways we would hang out was he would just put me on to different coffee shops, and we'd go together. And he was in college or like doing his teaching credential. I don't remember exactly. So we'd hang out that way. We go on coffee crawls. And then naturally just the group that I was, aside from him, like the group that I was hanging around, that was kind of like the thing to do.
Yeah.
So
it's very popular.
Yeah. So yeah, it started in high school with Starbucks, and then I outgrew Starbucks, and living in LA is like kind of lucky. You get a lot of good coffee.
Yeah, no
kidding.
kidding.
And then my first exposure to coffee outside of LA was one day me and my friend Seth were at another coffee shop, and we're hanging out, and I was just like, do you want to go to San Francisco tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we were like, okay.
It's like peak singlehood. Just asking your buddy if they want to drop everything and take a road trip with you.
And so, but the thing was, I didn't have a reliable car to get us to San Francisco and back. He didn't have a reliable car to get us to San Francisco and back. So then he called his mom and asked if we could use her car. And she said, yeah. And then, we met up. I met up at his house early the next morning, or maybe it was like the day after, because he had to get the car and she didn't live nearby. So we went up to SF, and I went to all the shops that I had read about, heard about, seen on YouTube. St. Frank's, Andy Town.
Oh, I miss Andy Town. I want to go.
Yeah.
It's this coffee shop that's in, what is the area called?
Sunset Beach?
No, it's cooler than that.
It's Sunset something, isn't it? Let me see.
It's in like a closest to beach town as you're going to get in San Francisco. No, it's cooler than that. Maybe it's Sunset something.
Outer Sunset.
See, that's cooler.
That is
Outer
cooler.
Sunset. It's this like cool, quiet, tiny little coffee shop that has really good specialty coffee and teas. Small menu, very popular. We also went there. Did we go there? No, we didn't go there. I don't know why I have like really fond memories of the first time that we went there together. Maybe it was after we got engaged.
No, it would have been
that was
before.
Sacramento.
Yeah. I think we went to SF twice, didn't we?
Before we were married?
We went with a group of friends, and then we went with another couple.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
both of those times are special, I would say.
Yeah. So I love SF. It's kind of a poopy hole right now.
Rip. I miss the old San Francisco.
Yeah. So I hope they figure it out. Man. It just seems like some areas are up there are really, really nice, and then other areas are like really, really bad. And so anyways, so SF, and then we went to Oregon for our friends.
Oh yeah.
Shotgun wedding. It wasn't a shotgun wedding.
It wasn't a shotgun wedding. That's not what that means.
I know. I didn't know that for the longest time, but I mean, it essentially.
Listen. You're going to make them sound bad. Not that you guys know who we're talking about. It wasn't a shotgun wedding. It was, they couldn't get married in California because of elopement. Yeah, because of COVID. So we had to go to Oregon.
Yeah, well, the government had the shotgun on them.
Can't get married. Yeah.
Yeah, because
something about like the county offices were closed.
Yeah, they got engaged just before COVID.
And Oregon was still allowing people to have like small weddings at the courthouse, so that's what we did. That was cool.
You couldn't file the paperwork, I think, is like what it was.
Yeah, it was kind of like a technicality thing.
Yeah, the government was shut down, and then
Oregon's during the government.
Oregon's government wasn't. So we went up to Oregon. They flew us all out there, and
let them mail the paperwork. Anyway, it was a good trip. It was nice.
Yeah. So then went to Heart Coffee out there, which is one of the staples. So I just haven't been to Seattle.
Yeah. We should go.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be great. That would be fun, and I think it'd be a great vlog too.
The bookstore.
The bookstore, the big one. Powell's?
Yeah.
What it's called? Yeah, I've been there. It's crazy.
So New York has an interesting coffee scene. It's just like, I mean, everything about New York is just totally different than anything on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's its own animal.
It is. I was explaining to a buddy the other day, because he had never been he'd been to Boston, but he'd never been to New York, and he was like, yeah, my wife and I would like to go. And I kind of explained to him how you explained like the fashion, and just how that kind of is like a small sign of the general attitude of New York.
Yeah,
like in LA, we're very like thrift shoppy, vintage.
You never want to look like you care or that you tried. It's all supposed to be like minimum. People in LA try very hard to look like they didn't care and that they're just like magically perfect. And there's, that, not to make overly dramatic or blanket statements about anywhere, but in New York, it was like people were dressed to impress.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Why not?
Yeah.
That's like way more fun.
People are always like dressed to the max.
Yeah. And like you could tell that they put in effort. Like the hairstyles were more intricate than stuff you would typically see in LA. And I'm like, okay, that's a clear exhibit of like time and care.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something that some types of LA people would like look upon lesser than just like tousled hair that you just woke up with, but you didn't wake up with it. You made it look like you woke up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And so that, I feel like that's just kind of natural for the culture there. Like the food, like that's not what they're flexing. Like LA flexes its hole in the wall spots.
It's all very chill.
Yeah. Like
chill, but with then big air quotes.
In New York, it's about like, we got these Michelin star restaurants and we want to show you how good like we can cook and how we're going to serve you and all these things. And
you can find great food and great coffee and great fashion in both places, but the way that it's presented is, at least in our experience, quite different.
Yeah. So I feel like it's the same with like the coffee out there, is it's not as grunge as LA. It's very like clean, and just,
I feel like LA, a lot of the shops in LA are just like white, minimal, like not quite beachy, but it's all very like taupe. And
yeah,
I don't even know if I'd call it grungy. It's like open space, industrial, no effort, white walls with a few decorations. But like, we don't care, but we do.
Yeah.
New York shops are a lot more polished, I would say.
Yeah, it's a smaller space for sure.
Yeah.
But they do like, it's just really nice.
Yeah, like beautiful tiling and strong, bold design choices and like you're gonna get aesthetics and stuff.
Yeah. In LA, you're going to get like the concrete floor.
Yeah, concrete floor.
And then, white walls or a darker wall or like a gray wall.
Tan, beige walls.
So, yeah.
At least that's like more commonly seen. Every time we go to New York, like, wish we had more time to spend here.
New York Comic Con.
Yeah. If anyone can procure us tickets to New York Comic Con, we'd love to go. Please.
That's San Diego.
Oh, right. So I mix them all up. Never mind. We can get tickets to New York Comic Con. But if anyone has a hookup on San Diego Comic Con tickets, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Yeah.
That'll lead to another hobby we'll talk about later. But
oh gosh, if we start talking about comics, we'll never stop.
But yeah, so that's my coffee history.
Yeah.
OG, LA, born and raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee. Yes. Coffee. And coffee makes its way into just how we spend our like off days or like reset days. We'll go to a shop and like I'll get a tea and you'll get a coffee and we'll hang out and either chat or do some like creative stuff, tapping on laptop or something like that. I feel like coffee shops have been a pretty consistent joint hobby through our dating and our marriage. So
yeah,
and now we have a full espresso setup at home, which we can talk about that.
I guess I didn't. So then I ended up getting a job managing a coffee shop.
Excuse me, you're missing an important detail. How did you get back into making coffee at home?
Oh, right. So
give me my a flower.
Oh, I thought that was a spider. So yeah, COVID happened. Shops are closed.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Not able to go out and get coffee.
Nope. We went to, just before I forget, we went to a coffee shop recently that in LA that we used to go to when we lived down there. And my last memory of going there was going to get flour. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Because there was like grocery shortages and stuff. And one of the coffee shops, Go Get 'em Tiger, was selling like small, like pound bags of flour.
That's right.
Yeah. So I remember driving up and just like rolling down the window.
Was it that location?
Bag. I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the closest one to where we used to live. Yeah. Anyway, we revisited that coffee shop recently. I was like, man, that was a weird time.
Yeah.
I rarely even buy flour in general because I don't bake that much, but I did need flour and I wanted to have it.
Yeah.
So we went to the coffee shop to go buy a pound of flour.
Yeah.
Weird times.
So yeah, during that time, the coffee shops were closed. Some were doing to-go orders like that. Yeah. That wasn't even till later, really.
No, a lot of places that weren't like absolutely mandatory were completely closed. No, not even to-go orders or something like that.
Yeah. So that just kind of led me to, I want to make coffee at home. So that started with pour-overs, which my buddy Nate, the one I had reconnected with, he had taught me over FaceTime during COVID.
Oh, really?
How to make a pour-over. And then that naturally led itself to, I don't want to drink pour-overs every day. I want to shake it up. I want some espresso because my go-to drink is an espresso, a pour-over, or a cortado. We decided to get a Linea Mini.
Yeah. However, we invested in a Linea Mini not for personal use. It was for personal use for the time, but it was initially with the intention of opening a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Because a Linea Mini is very expensive.
It's a commercial grade.
It's a commercial espresso machine.
In like in a single group head compact.
And the coffee shop dream, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but at least from what I understand, it has a pin in it.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah. 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 So we got that. And then I remember you went and like got supplies or
Yeah, you're forgetting the Canon event.
What's the Canon event?
It was the day that the lockdown started. And it was your birthday. And I got us both. I got two things.
By the way, the lockdown happened on my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday celebration was like the last thing we did before then we went to a bowling alley and
it was already pretty empty. Like I remember there was like,
it
was before lockdowns had happened, but people were talking about it.
Yeah, people were starting to freak out, but we had a birthday plan. So we're like, okay, well we're going to go bowling. And then it was like literally that night the CDC like dropped everything and gave like directives and shut down non-essential businesses. We're like, oh gosh. But
I think it was the next day, but yeah.
Oh yeah. For your birthday, I purchased 2 things and brought them home, and we opened them on the same day. One was the pour over kettle. That was, at least in my memory, that's when you started making coffee at home.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was my Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch, which is
right.
the reason I got back into gaming, which is the reason I started streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, that is a canon.
That all happened at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
I got a job, same place that I was working at. I just switched from
Craziest department switch.
Yeah, there was a coffee shop where I worked, and so I switched from IT, which I'd done for 4 years.
Yeah.
Switched to coffee, and I was essentially going to take over the management. The person who was managing the coffee shop was transitioning out, and so they had brought me in to take over. There's a lot of...
We talked about it last time or the time before. Oh no, yeah, we talked about it on the first one that like we were basically at a crossroads of either we stay here and we're probably stuck in our current, in the status quo for, you know, who knows how long or permanently, or we had the chance to leave Los Angeles and go live somewhere we more wanted to live.
So we did that.
We took the leap and did that.
And then when we did that, I catered a few times.
We built out a coffee cart and we catered a couple events, which was cool. I would say I didn't love it because it involved getting up early, and at least the 2 that we did were quite far. Like one of the ones we did was a long drive. So catering was not bad.
Yeah, there's definitely a better way to do it. We were doing it, I think, in the most scuffed way possible.
Yeah, it's something about the espresso machine is that it has this tiny little water tank. So, and I think it had like drainage issues at the time, or like water, it would, whatever. Basically, we could make 2 to 3, maybe like 4 or 5 drinks before it would need water again. And then, so we'd have to like, on times that it was really busy, we'd have to like rip out the like drainage, pour it out, fill it up, and like wait for it to warm up fully so that we could make the next drink. So it was quite stressful.
Yeah.
In a small space. So there's probably ways that we could do it better. We still have the coffee cart, and I
wouldn't use that coffee cart.
Yeah, no. That's a at-home item for now, and we are enjoying having a commercial grade espresso machine at home. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we haven't like fully discussed the future with that, but I think right now you're focusing on comics and the podcast.
No, I missed our podcast over here.
I know. He's Patron over here.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever go back into catering.
Yeah, I think it wasn't great returns either. I mean, coffee shops in general are hard. This is a difficult industry to make money or to be lucrative, at least if you're talking about like direct sales on drinks itself. So it's definitely a difficult industry. So
yeah, and I think just one of the reasons why there's also a pin in the coffee shop is because small businesses are just crashing at the moment,
left and right.
And so I think it's just kind of waiting it out and just seeing how the economy recovers, and if it recovers, just kind of seeing what that all entails. But
it's
that door,
closed but not locked.
I wouldn't even say closed.
Oh,
yeah, I'd say it's like slightly open.
Okay.
Yeah, but
slightly open.
Because I mean, I don't know, closing the door, that seems hardcore still.
I guess so. You can open it just as easily as you can close it.
Yeah, but I feel like when you close the door, you're like standing on business.
Well, you are standing on business with your comic stuff. Like that door's open.
Yeah.
And if the door's creaked open, what if it cuts off the channels?
Well, I also see a potential of there being a collaboration between the two. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you talked about that. But yeah, for now, coffee has returned back to the hobby category.
Yeah.
Hobby hobby personal enjoyment.
Yeah.
Coffee. And I just enjoy the smells and the fact that I can professionally steam milk at home.
What did you write here?
All my hobbies. I wrote down current, past, things that I dabbled in for a short time and then have stopped. I also wrote down our cat's hobbies.
Yelling at ceiling. Jeez, it's so good.
Wait, you gotta read them. If you're gonna read them, read them.
Should I go over the cat hobbies? Okay.
Yeah, listen, these are our cat's hobbies.
Well, I'll let you do it because I feel like I've talked a lot the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is my bit. Don't yoink it. Okay, so our cat's hobbies. Asher's include chewing on grass, yelling for no particular reason, drinking from the sink, and also yelling at us because he wants to drink from the sink. Murdoch's hobby.
Wait, hold on. Can we talk about Asher's yelling for a second? Because
I would love to talk about Asher's yelling.
That dude, he will just walk into the room, stare at you dead in the face, and just.
Yeah, he like mimics the sound. We've gotten accustomed to it, but there was a time that he kind of like changed the way that he meowed, that it sounded like he was injured. It would cause us to like run and sprint, but really he just either wants our attention or wants water from the sink, or now wants to go outside because we've given him a taste of quote unquote freedom in the yard, and he just really loves it. So
yeah, and he. That's exactly him. And he also is like, ever since the going outside, he's been like scratching at the window, and now he just does that. Like,
I know
when I'm pooping, he's like, "Let me into the bathroom. I want to be in there." And I'm like, "Brother, you do not want to be in here right now."
But he does. He really does. Yeah. He wants to be where we are, especially if we're outside. But yeah, he started trying to chomp on the grass out there, and there's a lot of weeds. And I don't know what's what.
And turf, so and it's not even real grass.
And there's turf, so I'm gonna plant some cat grass, and hopefully he will take to it. But yeah, I'm a little nervous about letting him out there. The other day he was swatting at a bee.
Wasp.
Excuse me, a wasp. There's a wasp nest or a hornet's nest.
Right above the door, right?
Right above the door. I just noticed it today.
Your mom saw it a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, you should knock that down." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And then
you never did.
As soon as they left, I totally forgot about it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see it because there's been one. I don't know if it's a wasp or a hornet, kind of just hovering around the same area, and I was like, it suddenly my two brain cells started to put it together. If there's one hornet hovering around, it probably lives here. And then 2 seconds later, I saw the nest. So I don't know when I'm going to deal with that. But yeah, Ashley was swatting at it yesterday. And thankfully, I got him inside before bad things happened. Asher has been stung by a bee, though.
That was funny.
And his little cheek puffed up just a little bit. Poor guy. It's very sad for him.
Pretty funny, though.
So yeah, Asher has lots of hobbies. He also likes...
Sleeping.
He
sleeps the most out of all
true.
of them.
He's such a sleeper.
There he is right there.
Asher, you come here? Oh. Asher.
Plop down on the couch.
He's on the couch now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes being where we are. He likes being in the bathroom. And lately, they all really like sitting in the windowsill that's facing our sunroom because sometimes flies hang out. They can look at the bugs. Ashy, you're supposed to be sleeping right now. You laid up over there? He really loves attention. That's true for all of them, probably except Murdoch. Okay, so moving on. Murdoch really enjoys laying around. One thing about Murdy is if he's not yelling at the ceiling or galloping down the hall, he is laid up somewhere. And when he sleeps, even if he's looped up or if he's like laid on his side, when he starts falling asleep, his eyes start to droop real low and his mouth hangs open and he's like breathing out of his mouth, and like he'll observe that things are moving around and his eyes will just kind of shift around like this. And it's really beautiful.
The thing about him being laid up is he will sit in the most random spot.
Yeah.
Like, can you see? Okay, so the hallway behind Dish over here, he will just like be sitting at like an angle in the hallway. Like,
which is crazy for a cat with anxiety and social issues to be just in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
It's so like, strange for him.
He'll sit like, I guess you guys can't see it, but our TV is right here, and he'll just like sit. Like it's not even like he's facing the sun or he's facing like where we are. He's just facing like the most random directions. It's never like towards anything that like you would expect them to be facing towards. He's just like,
he's a weird guy.
Okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to face in the most awkward direction that I possibly can.
Yeah.
So you'll just find him in the most random parts of the house. And you're just like, brother, what are you doing?
What are you doing here? And he's shocked that you've entered the room. And he's like, oh my gosh, do I have to run for my life right now? Am I about to die? But if I can just say, Murdy, for those of you who don't know, Murdoch, when we got him, was what, 3 months old? Or maybe a little bit
Something
less?
Something like that, yeah.
He was not socialized, unfortunately, at the shelter, which is strange because he was at the shelter for over a month. Yeah. And I have to assume that they did not put any effort into socializing him because he was like born on the street to a litter. And we got him because he didn't hiss at us. And apparently he had, everyone who had like looked at him, he had hissed at them. And I guess the policy is when a cat hisses, they can't be adopted for a couple of days or something like that. Yeah. So
they got to go on probation.
Yeah. They go on kitty probation, poor thing. So he has always had like extreme anxiety, very scared of people. Most of the time, probably the first couple months that we got him, he spent most of his time under the bed. We only come out for meals. You know, we worked with him. We did as much as he would let us. Like when I would feed him, I would kind of cup my hand in between him and the food so that he had to pass under my hand, and I would lightly pet his head, little things like that. But he was so jumpy, and you know, we hated watching that. But he has always loved Asher, has always loved playing with him. And, you know, it's funny. He would initiate play with us a little bit, but then the moment we reciprocated, he was running for his life.
Yeah.
So, but he has gotten so much better. And it's like, I feel like maybe I was on copium a little bit, but I felt like I was noticing his changes a lot in like the first year. You were more like, I don't want to say hopeless, but I don't know if
I was pretty pessimistic.
Yeah, you were pretty more pessimistic about his progress. But when we got Ahsoka, I think that's when the big changes started.
Yeah,
because he started to like.
That's when he had some alpha.
Yeah, he had some hierarchical authority. He wasn't the baby anymore. He wasn't the smallest anymore. I swear within a week of getting Ahsoka, he went from looking like a kitten to looking like a full-grown cat.
Yeah, he really did.
Uncanny. Yeah, he started taking care of her. He was so excited to see her when we had to quarantine her because she had a bunch of illnesses and fleas and all sorts of stuff. But he was so excited when it was morning time and we could go see her. But yeah, like nowadays, whereas he would not even willingly come near us, he now will lay right behind our heads when we're watching TV. He will make playful noises in our direction. He will go out of his way to be near us. And he just, you know, we've tried a lot of not medicine. Well, kind of. We've tried like cat CBD and calm, like medicated kibble that's supposed to soothe anxiety. And like, I think those things have helped a little bit, but I'm very encouraged every time he makes a little step forward. Sometimes it doesn't feel like much, but compared to where he was when we got him, And even from being a 1-year-old to being 2, the little changes adds up. So
he's the best at night for some reason.
Yeah, he's very calm at night. I don't really know why.
Yeah. Anybody knows why. Like during the day, he's like, he'll still run from us during the day.
Yeah.
And if he's like laid up somewhere and we go to like step over him to get somewhere,
during the
day,
that.
He'll run. But at night,
he'll
like tolerate it, which is
chill.
really weird.
Is it because he has a sight advantage?
Maybe.
Some kind of like instinctual, I can see perfectly in pitch black and you can't.
I wonder if he has vision issues.
I never considered that.
That's why he'd be seeing things in the ceilings.
Oh, gosh. Yes. Murdy's hobbies, his current hobby, which we didn't really start seeing this come out until probably like within the last like 6 or 7 months or so, that he loves yelling at the ceiling. Not yelling, like trilling at the ceiling, like at the ceiling. It doesn't matter if there's anything there. That's like how he initiates play. He like calls to the mothership and then bounce around the house like a crazy person.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how he initiates playtime. He also loves chasing Ahsoka, probably too much.
Yeah. She'll be hissing at him and he will not stop.
Yeah, she's got like, I think she was the runt because she's still so tiny. But I don't know. He doesn't seem to respond to her hissing. And I can't figure out why. And I've tried to let it play out, and it usually ends with him like mounting her. So it could stem back to that one time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we had scheduled Ahsoka's spay appointment, but unfortunately, she went into her first heat about 4 days before.
Goodness gracious!
And it was miserable. It was frightening. It was
the sounds she was making.
Yeah, I think I can't recall them to memory now, which I'm grateful for. But she like, if you've ever witnessed a cat go into heat, they turn into like a completely different creature. And she pestered Murdoch and Asher.
She pestered Asher first,
day and night, and he rejected her. He was not into it. He would just
ran from sin.
Smack her, and he ran like
Joseph,
Potiphar's wife. Yeah, he was not into it. But she was able to, once, from what I witnessed,
after a couple days,
she was able to coerce Murdoch into at least getting into position to
yes they understand.
They don't need the details. For what I could witness, nothing actually happened. I think they're both idiots and they didn't know what they were doing.
And I feel like the response to her call was more like him being like, will this shut her up? Like, she will not stop yelping.
If I
partake,
hover on top of her for 30 seconds, is she gonna shut the freak up? And she did, actually, after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it stems back to that. And because, she's been spayed, she will never have interest in partaking ever again. But yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should just let it happen, but I just feel bad for her because she's running across the house, hissing and trying to get him to stop, and he just won't. So I end up just letting her go into a bedroom and like shutting the door so she can have a moment's peace and Murdoch can chill out.
The thing is, it starts with her most of the time.
It's like she
starts playing and then the plane goes too far. It's just classic younger sibling.
Yeah, she starts fights, but then she don't want to finish them.
Hey, Mom, save me.
She's so little. She's got a lot of spice, but no, she's too tiny. She will never best them. And Murdoch has these big paws.
Yeah, his paws are huge. Yeah.
It's funny. So that's Murdy.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's hobbies include, recently, new hobby pickup is chasing and eating bugs.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I open the door and I'm like doing something in the yard, a fly will come in and she will
get it,
drop everything and focus wholly on catching and consuming that bug. And I think we collectively have witnessed her eat 3 flies.
I've never seen her fail.
No, she's too fast. That's one thing about her. She's incredibly fast. She can jump insanely high and with great accuracy. She's just fast and small and agile. So she catches those flies. One of my personal favorites is something we have come to call couch tour. Sometimes when we're watching TV at night, we both sit in the same place. She will come up and decide that she would like to be pet. So what she'll do is she'll start with one of us and she'll go underneath our hand and be pet. And then she'll go to the next person and she will receive a full body pet. And then she will just go back and forth. She'll loop around. Yeah. She'll go on her couch tour. She will drool all over us because she drools for some reason. Yeah. She drools so much whenever she purrs. And she'll do that for about 3 to 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
And sometimes she'll just she'll settle, or sometimes she'll just leave. Yeah. She'll just be content with the love she received, and then she'll go about her night.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
It's pretty funny. Yesterday, Asher was yelling at me, so I picked him up and threw him on my desk, and then I was petting him, and then he just kind of loafed up on my mouse pad and just laid there. And then Ahsoka, I don't know if she got jealous or what, but she ran into my room and then she started meowing. I'd never really heard her meow. And she was trying to climb my chair, but there was really nowhere for her to jump. So then I picked her up and then she just walked across my body and just started drooling on me. And then Asher hit her. And then I was like, hey, don't do that. And then Asher jumped off and left.
Yeah, she gets jealous, or every time she is extremely greedy. Every time someone is getting a treat, someone's getting pet, she will stop at nothing to make sure that whatever it is redirected at her. Yeah. And she has invoked the anger of Asher quite a few times because Asher will, he'll come up to me to get pets and then she will just literally walk in between the two of us. And I have tried to stop her, but usually she just goes, "Meh." Sometimes he'll do a little smack and then he'll leave.
He did a quick 3 smacks yesterday when she jumped up.
You just have to let it happen too.
And she was like, "Wee."
I mean, that's how they teach each other. That's how they teach each other hierarchy. So
Dad's petting me right now.
Yeah. You kind of just have to let it happen. It's very rare that we have to intervene, except when Murdy won't stop chasing Peepa. Peepa is Ahsoka, by the way, if you don't know.
She has about names.
She's got about 25 nicknames. Ahsoka, Soka, Woka, Gatita, when she was really little. And then we called her Fatita when she was
eating
everyone's food without fail. And then we have, what else? Capipa, which is just a messy version of Gatita. And then that turned into Peepa. And now she's like Peepa Weepa.
Peep,
Lil Peep, Miss Peep. Yeah.
It's really situational what we call her.
I started calling her Peppa the other day.
Oh no.
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Peepa. Another hobby she's picked up is sleeping in in the old laundry basket.
Oh, that's so cute.
She did that before, but then I recently got a new laundry basket. Mm-hmm. And so I just moved the old one to the front of our bedroom. And then
it's comfy.
She jumps in there and it's warm too. Cause there's no airflow. She just goes to the bottom and she's hidden.
That's
no
sweet,
Murdoch
though.
to attack her.
That's indirect affection that she enjoys the smell.
Yeah.
Is comforted by the smell. Oh, that's one of my favorite hobbies. Indirect affection from Murdoch is that usually when he lays down, he will find a piece of my clothing that I've worn and left somewhere, and he'll lay on that. I just think that's very cute. Last hobby I have on here is chasing milk carton caps. We drink oat milk at home, and they come in these little smaller cartons, like barista oat milk. So she has come to learn the sound of a new cap being removed, and she will stop everything. She will sprint into the kitchen, and then when she hears she meows. She meows and she braces and she readies herself to chase it. And I throw it as far as I can. It's really light, so it doesn't have much, whatever. It doesn't have enough weight to really go very far, but I throw it as far as I can. And she chases it. And when we moved and the movers picked up the couch off the ground, we discovered at least 50 caps under there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun. She likes collecting them as well.
Yeah. And then she'll just like randomly just start playing with them. Like if she finds it, like she'll play with it for like, 5-10 minutes after you throw it, and then she'll leave it. And then like a couple days later, it's like you just see her like trying to like pick it up on the wall and like
so
playing
cute.
with it. Yeah.
Oh, love. She keeps herself occupied. I like having 3 cats. There's always someone to play with.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
And always someone to sleep.
Always someone to cuddle up with. Yeah. So those are our cats' hobbies. For me, the only real hobby that I feel like yapping about is gardening. Gardening. I have always, for a long time, I thought I wanted a greenhouse. And I think at some point I might want a greenhouse. But that's mostly because I was really into like, bless you. Like you're going to sneeze again. I was really into the concept of like rare exotic plants and I don't know. I just think greenhouses are so beautiful, and I love, bless you, the indoor sections.
Also, I'm allergic to cats.
Well, yeah, kind of. We were allergic, really allergic, but then we just tanked it because we loved Asher so much. We bought him. We did pay like an $80 adoption fee. We adopted him because we're stupid and know nothing about cats, and we thought he was a Russian blue, not knowing that you have to obviously specifically target Russian blues because they're a rare breed and whatever. But he's just a gray American short hair, and we love him to death.
He's just a little cute guy.
Just a cute guy, the best kind of guy. But yeah, we've learned to cope with our allergies, I suppose. And our bodies
I feel like my allergies are like they go up and down.
Yeah, we vacuum a lot.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, back to gardening. I thought I wanted a greenhouse, but I think right now this is the first time we've had a yard and a hose and a big patio for me to grow, I guess, anything I want. Yeah, I think it's been so fun to just learn about how to take care of different types of plants and like how to I'm a little nervous about making long-term decisions, so I haven't actually put anything in the ground yet. I've only put stuff in pots and in planter boxes, so I'm growing like romaine lettuce and butter crunch lettuce and parsley and other herbs, sage, and then I have flowers that are still in pots. But yeah, it's been interesting learning about like how to draw pollinators and how to like what to plant together that like enjoy the similar type of soil density and soil hydration level. And one thing that I think has been the most fun that I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I do is composting. I started learning how to compost. I just have like a little wood crate that I got at Home Depot at Lowe's for like $10. And I started learning about green and brown materials, and I have a little green compost bin in the kitchen. And I've enjoyed the process. I've enjoyed witnessing and partaking in the like cycle of life process. And specifically, I like none of my produce goes to waste now. Not truly. Obviously, it sucks when things mold, or it sucks when like, it sucks when things mold or go bad. But also, like, I'm not throwing away the ends of carrots or anything anymore because it now has a purpose to go into the compost bin, and it starts like a new cycle of life in there, even in like death.
I contribute coffee pucks.
Yes, coffee is very good for the compost bin. But yeah, doing that, and putting in brown materials, like even trash is having a new purpose, like any sort of organic trash. And actually seeing it work, for one, it's cool because it's something that I have absolutely no experience in. And to actually witness something go from like life to death to mud, and eventually it's going to be the reason that I can grow other things and that like new life can proceed. I just think that that's really cool, and I'm looking forward to just connecting more with just the natural process of things. Like there's other things that this has sparked interest in. I want to learn how to make butter because apparently it's extremely easy and way cheaper. And I want to learn how to make cream cheese, which is also apparently extremely easy. And it's nice. I think especially in America, we've grown very used to the just being very disconnected from our food.
Yeah.
And simply not knowing not knowing how easy it is and how cost effective it can be to just put in a little bit of extra elbow grease to create food that is like your own. I heard someone say that it almost is like a little bit rebellious. It feels funnily rebellious to just be like, freak you, I'm gonna make my own lettuce and I'm gonna grow my own stuff for my little salad.
Gotta blow my nose.
Oh. Sound the trumpets. And then the seventh seal was broken. And the trumpet was blown. Yeah, it's great. And also, it's kind of gross. And you can watch my first gardening video when it comes out if you want to see. But there's definitely a part of me that thought it wasn't going to work and that I was going to fail. And that something was going to go wrong with the compost bin. But like, how wrong can it go if you're just letting food rot and stuff? But if you dig, like if you take a little, like a shovel or some kind of like mini rake through the compost bin, you'll see so many different kinds of bugs. There's obviously there's gnats that hover around, of course. There's roly-polies, there's beetles, there's spiders and worms and earthworms. And it's just cool because they're all part of the process. You know, they eat stuff, they eat what we can't eat, and they poop it out, and they turn it into fertilizer. Mm-hmm. And they contribute to combining everything into just back into the earth. So it's just cool to be a part of like the life and death process, and it's fun. My romaine lettuce has doubled in size. Soon I will make us my very own Caesar salad with it.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah. Yeah, gardening.
I feel like part of what kind of makes you or anybody else really like those things is it's like tapping into part of what we were like created to do. Like we were given authority over the land and to harvest and to make it fruitful.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of satisfaction in doing like what kind of all the way back to the beginning.
It is very satisfying. It's satisfying. It's also like, it's a nice, simple responsibility to go outside every day and check on things that are growing and water the plants. And it's nice to be outside and to feel the sun. Like it's healthy. It feels right.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know anything about gardening.
I don't really know that much about gardening either. I mean,
I'd just be watching you do it. I'm like, nice romaine lettuce. You got that.
Thank you. I do tell him, go look at my lettuce because it's grown.
And I'm like, nice compost.
Yeah, it's nice. It's far enough away from the house that it doesn't smell or anything. Most of the yard is rocks and dirt that is so dense and dry that it's basically clay. So that's going to be a big project But yeah, before I put anything in the ground, I gotta till the soil. And I mean, there is like a level of satisfaction in that, but we'll see if the satisfaction is enough for me to want to do it all by myself. I don't know. What about, do you have any hobbies that you've abandoned?
Huh.
Things that you like got interested in and were like, oh, I think I want to, and then you did it like a couple times and that was it.
I mean, you know about me. So when I get into something, I full send into it.
Yes.
Even if it's for like 3 days. That's like all I do for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I could just like leave it. Maybe like Pokemon, but I feel like that just...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kind of...
I forgot about that.
No pun intended. It kind of evolved itself into comics.
Oh, yeah, collecting. Yeah,
so I wouldn't even say that was like...
Yeah, no, I think it counts.
It adjusted to something else.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like, oh man, I used to collect these and read them when I was a kid. And then it was just kind of like, well, I can't afford to do both.
Yeah, and we spent... dude, the Evolving Skies incident. It still hurts to think about. There's a chase card. It's like the card from the Evolving Skies Pokemon set. It's the... What is it? The Umbreon VMAX Altart. It's so beautiful. I'll put it on screen for you. And we bought an truly ungodly amount of boxes chasing that card. And we were like, surely, if we buy another 5 booster boxes, I'm sure we'll get the card. And we never did.
We got almost everything else.
Yeah. And there haven't been that many sets that really like gripped. There's a few Japanese sets that were cool, but yeah, there hasn't been anything as cool as Evolving Skies in the English set since then. So I proverbially got the wind knocked out of me that I was like, I don't want to open any more Pokemon cards ever again.
I would say
it was fun, but it was expensive, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know how, that's not the right word. I don't know if there was, I can't like think of something because I feel like even if I do start something, it's like I might put it away for some time, but I like find my way like
it comes back
fitting it into like kind of normal life. So like records. Like,
yeah, record collecting. I have that in my current, but it's also kind of a passive one. Yeah.
I've been thinking I wanted to go to one of the record shops, but I'm not motivated because we haven't set up the record player. So yeah, I would say probably my newest, I don't know if I would say it's a hobby. It's still kind of collecting and it's adjacent to comics. Is I really like looking at movie posters.
Oh, yes.
The 27 by 40 double-sided movie posters that are the ones that you see at the movie theaters.
At the cinema.
Like the big cases when you're walking down and it's like coming soon. Da-da-da. So, shameless plug for my comic podcast, The Comic Room. You can check it out. It's me and her father.
Link in the
collect together. Link in description. We collect together and stuff. But if you watch that podcast or are going to watch it, behind us is always a poster. I only have 2 at the moment, but I want to get a couple more so that I can
cycle them.
So I can rotate them.
That's cool.
But yeah, I have these 27 by 40 posters that were movie theater posters promoting the movies. And the 2 that I have right now are the Batman 2022, which is one of probably my favorite superhero movie of all time. And I would even argue, I would stick the flag in the hill that is the greatest superhero movie of all time. And then I have the Into the Spider-Verse of Miles falling upside down, which is just an incredible shot from Into the Spider-Verse. I like Across the Spider-Verse more, but that's undeniably
Across the Spider-Verse
the best shot.
Yeah, it's fire.
So I'm really excited to see how those trilogies or whatever, however many movies they become, because those are definitely my two favorite. Cinematic stories that are being told at the moment. It was kind of funny. Your dad in our podcast last week, I had said, yeah, like because I give him news every week on the podcast because he's not like, especially.
He's not as chronically online as we are.
Yeah, and especially when he gets back to work, like he's definitely not going to be seeing news. So I kind of give him like a rundown of like all the important stuff. And the Batman got like kind of like it got a release date kind of.
Oh.
And I mistook.
Mistook.
I mistaken did.
Miscooked it.
I thought it was 2025, fall 2025. But it's fall 2026. Oh. And so your dad, he was like, man, it's kind of morbid, but he was like, man, he's like, maybe I'm still young enough where I don't have to like worry about that. And he's like, but there is going to come a time where I'm going to be like, I'm never going to see the end of these movies. And then
I cannot think about that.
We laughed about it, but yeah, it is. I do think about that sometimes. I'm just like, man, I hope I make it to see the end of the Spider-Verse trilogy or whatever. And
just gotta make it till then.
But yeah, so anyways, so the movie posters are kind of like a new one. I'm looking at one on eBay from the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. And then if I don't know if it will or not, but if the Daredevil show that comes out next year, if they have a 27x40,
we gotta make it till then.
then I'll get a poster from that too.
I gotta make it until George R.R. Martin finishes Game of Thrones and writes the last book.
Yeah.
He's got to make it till then, actually. It's been like 15 years.
Yeah. The statistics, I mean, anything can happen at any time, but the statistics are definitely...
I know, every moment that passes, it gets a little bit less likely that that book is ever going to finish.
Yeah. He just needs to be on his Sanderson grind. And
I just don't get it. How can you have watched your story and your characters get so butchered on TV, literally and figuratively butchered, that you don't feel like a righteous indignation to correct it? It makes me so mad. I saw a beautiful box set of the Game of Thrones series at Target, and there was a big Target sale, and it was like 30% off, and I was tempted, but I'm like, no, I am not buying your books. I'm not even going to finish your books until you finish them.
Yeah.
Very mad.
Didn't he like tweet the other day that like he went to Mexico with his family for a vacation and he wrote a book while he was there?
I don't know. He's like the mind of a nation. Oh.
Hey.
Good night. Wait, why? Oh, that's the one that was half. That was the one that was half charged. Sorry, no close.
But that one's holding the charge. It must be that brick.
I don't know. Sorry, we're still working out technical kinks, so we'll get it eventually. We'll get all the footage all there someday.
Yeah. Your dad and I are on this week we'll film episode 4 of the podcast. And I think it'll be the episode where finally like the camera will make it all the way through. Like all the cameras will make it through. Like I think it's going to be the episode where it's like I've figured everything out, and then hopefully I probably just jinxed it, but whatever.
You probably did. Knock on wood.
You know, as long as the cameras make it all the way through, I'm happy with that. Because the cameras dying is the most annoying part.
Well, the audio dying would be probably worse.
Yeah, that's true. So
ideally nothing dies. As long as the audio stays, I guess that's fine.
Yeah. But like we're having a problem with the main camera where is that one about to no.
Surely not.
No. Where the main camera is just like, but we also like go on for like we film about 2 hours. Yeah.
They're yappers.
So
my goodness.
I'm going to get a TV during Prime Week, Prime Day this week.
I've been counting down the days, honestly. Because I have one of my hobbies is nails lately, which is honestly unfortunate that I'm getting into like nail art at the same time that I'm getting into gardening, because those are not compatible.
Yeah.
But I have a full wish list of gel nail items that like basically everything I would need to get to be able to fully do gel nails at home, like with builders and stuff, if you know what I'm talking about, building and curing and magnets and stuff. And I'm hoping that a lot of it goes down in price at that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're getting a TV.
Getting a TV for a clock. Not for a clock, but one of the uses it will be is
getting a TV for a clock. I was about to veto that real quick.
No, sorry. It's just because your dad was like last week. He was like, he's like, should we get like a timer clock to hang on the wall? And I was like, well, I'm actually getting a TV so that I can like throw up media for us. Yeah, cool. And if we like video people in as like guests, we can throw them up on the TV and you know whatever. So. Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest uses in the beginning is getting us into a rhythm of like an hour and a half, an hour 45 at max.
Surely.
But whatever.
Surely.
We don't care. Well, yap.
I mean, the viewer can decide how much they want to watch and what they want to watch. So
hobbies.
Well, see, I am a chronic serial hobby starter, and I think I've come to accept and not think poorly of the fact that I can become interested in lots of different things. And this is the same for you, and it's probably the same for most people. Like, I don't need to master every hobby to perfection to enjoy it. I can do a hobby poorly, and still that doesn't make it stupid or a waste of time or... Mike's not picking that up. We got some kids. I think we have some kids outside playing. I thought that was like a
weird noises.
Like a big bird or something.
I think there's also like some hobbies are just there to be there for you in a time of life when you need it.
Yeah, and absolutely.
That time of life kind of wraps up, and you might not need it as much anymore. Like it could just be like a hobby for, escapism or to just kind of like help you get through a hard time, whatever it is. And then you get through that difficult time and you don't necessarily need to carry it on to the rest of your life. It served its purpose in your life, and it's okay to like lay it down and then get on the next one.
Yeah. And maybe you'll come back to it later for a different reason. I feel like, at least in my life, I can't really pinpoint anything that was a waste of time or that I didn't benefit from positively, even if I didn't continue. Like right now, I spent a year learning how to draw, and I made a YouTube series out of it. And I think is honestly a lot, or probably too much I could say about that whole experience. And like why I'm at a standstill with it right now. But I don't regret the time that I spent and like the skill point I was able to reach during that time. And there's a few pieces that I made that I would still say that I'm proud of, and I would say that I don't feel any like shame or weirdness about. But even the ones that I don't really like, it's still something I thought I at one point could never do. And there's so much value in learning something, and being able to see yourself learn something, because learning is a skill in and of itself.
Yeah. But I think also just picking up a new hobby and discovering that you really like it, or discovering that you don't like it as much as you thought, is very productive in helping you kind of like figure out who you are.
Yeah.
And even just like professionally, like what do you want to do? Like, some people have this strange ability to not want to do what they love. Like they could just like genuinely work, normal jobs, and they're totally happy and content with that. And that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Other people like us just can't.
No passion, no work.
Yeah, like we want to be creating things. We want to be kind of putting stuff out there, and that's at least how we're wired. And so, a few years ago, I wasn't collecting hobbies the way I am today, and now look, I'm collecting. Or did I say collecting hobbies?
You did say collecting hobbies.
I wasn't collecting comics.
I mean,
collecting hobbies like they're Infinity Stones. No, I wasn't collecting comics like I am today, and then look where it's led me. Like, I love collecting. Mm-hmm. I love making content about it.
Yeah.
And for now, I am not burnt out on it. And I don't know if, I honestly don't know if I will be.
It's a good place to be.
So
yeah, all of your experiences are going to weave together in some weird way, and like things will come back that you never expected. Like I never expected I would regain an interest in gaming. And I read a lot when I was a kid, but I can't remember what book got me back into reading, like, or interested in reading. I don't even remember why I got a Kindle or what compelled me to get a Kindle. But anyway, like maybe Gabby. Yeah. But yeah, I never thought that those things would become important to me again, but both of those things are an important part of my personal life and an important part of my career. So yeah. I don't know. I just don't think. I think a lot of people get weighed down by the remorseful feeling of like letting something go by the wayside for a while, or like not turning a hobby into their life's work or something. Like for me, drawing, I genuinely don't feel compelled to draw these days. I don't feel like I'm missing something. And I think part of the reason I learned in the first place is because I wanted to silence the voice in me that told me that I couldn't and that I was incapable of it. And I did. And I think if I had kept pursuing it, if I had wanted to keep pursuing it, I would probably be, significant. I wish I could see the art that I would be creating if I felt compelled to do it, but I don't. But I have more confidence now going into new hobbies and new interests or new endeavors of any kind because I have that under my belt now.
Nice.
So, yeah. Maybe I'll get back into crocheting. Crocheting is something I started and abandoned. I also have roller skates out there that, funnily enough, have a spider web on them. So, you never know. You never know. Surfing is another one. That's something that I would say I pursued because of another person for a while, and then I liked it enough to continue. But that eventually faded too, and like I still have my surfboard literally like 2 yards away from me, and I could at any point decide that I want to start again. Huh. And I might.
You never know.
You literally never know.
All right, what's your number one hobby right now?
Reading.
Reading?
Yeah, I think reading, it's probably tandem reading and gardening. I'm reading 2 books. One of them is really good and one of them is just okay. It's very weird jumping back and forth between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which ones because I feel someone might get angry if I say which one I'm reading that I think is very mid.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to wait to finish it until I say anything.
Okay, and what's a hobby that you would really like to have and keep up with, but you just can't right now?
I think fashion is something that I've always loved. Like probably my first...
Fashion is your passion.
My fashion is passion. Yeah, I think... Oh, excuse me. I think one of my first dream jobs was to be a fashion designer. And I
Fashionista.
I love watching fashion content. I love seeing people be super creative with outfits and stuff. And it interests me, but right now it's just like, I guess how I dress is kind of low priority right now. When I stream, what people see is about this much of me. Have my hands on my torso. So it kind of doesn't matter. I would say I'm just working with what makes the most impact on my regular content, which is makeup, hair, nails, and my shirts. So that's I don't worry about whatever I might be wearing underneath. It's not really that important, or on the bottom half of me.
Speaking of fashion, you got to take your clothes.
Oh yeah, I have like 7 bags of clothes that I need to go donate. Okay, I'll do it. What about you? Number 1 hobby?
It's comics.
It's comics, sure. Which is awesome that your hobby is aligning with your work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened with gaming. Is my hobby aligned with my work? What about the one that you wish you could do but don't have the time or drive for right now?
I would say probably Valorant.
Oh, Valorant.
I wish I could play a little bit more than... I'm sure if I was really hard on myself as far as like scheduling my day, I could definitely make it happen. But I'm not like when it comes to work, I'm not like a marathon. I'm like a sprint. Like I'll put in like an hour or 2 of like good hard work.
Yeah.
And then I'll take like 30 minutes off. And then I'll go like an hour or 2 of like good hard work. And then I'll take 30 minutes off.
This is me too.
So yeah, wish I could play Valorant a little more, but I'm not like itching to play. I'm like very content with like, we just moved into the new space and doing 2 podcasts, editing one of them, still designing my room.
Yeah.
Figuring everything out, sorting through all of my comics, which is thousands and thousands of comics.
It is.
Between what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to sell. Listing those comics. Like that's all. It's tedious work, but it's, still work and takes time. So yeah, all that stuff. I'm not in I would say I'm not in like a full rhythm yet. I'm still like, the room isn't set. And I feel like once the room is set as to how it's going to be and look for a good amount of time, then I feel like at that point, I'm going to have a rhythm.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because it's not just a hobby now. It's like you're committed to it.
Yeah.
So
once I do that, then obviously I'll be able to game a little bit more. But yeah, I haven't opened Honkai or Genshin in like 2 weeks. Genshin longer for sure, but Honkai I haven't opened in like 2-3 weeks.
Low key, I haven't even opened Genshin in like 2 weeks.
Fired.
It's Jover. No, don't say fired. People are gonna get it twisted again. That I'm under some contract.
But
I'm not. Never have been.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's... I guess I also do miss being like near LA and like going to different shops. So I'm actually planning with that friend Nate in the next week or 2 to go.
Oh, nice.
Across LA.
That'd be cool.
So, yeah. But I'm also just really thankful that I can work with comics, and I'm thankful that...
It scared me. I thought someone was walking into our yard. Murdoch just jumped onto the windowsill. And he's walking around. Cute guy.
I'm also glad that like your dad's into it too.
That's very cool.
And because I feel like him and I were always like cool with each other. But then when we like came to the comics and we're collecting together, that was like when we started to form like an actual friendship.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I'm happy to see it.
And now we're kind of working together, I guess.
A lot of people don't get along with their in-laws.
Yeah.
It's rare.
We're blessed for sure.
Very blessed. Both of us. Yeah. Hobbies ebb and flow. People ebb and flow. You do the best with the time that you have, because right now is all we have.
Yep.
So.
Amen.
Amen, brother. So do your thing. And I'm going to do my thing. Yep. And you're going to do your thing. And we may live 200 or we may die tomorrow. And you don't want to waste the time that you have thinking about what ifs and I wishes and and bashing yourself for something as non-serious as what hobbies you do, because hobbies are for fun.
Yeah.
So
do what you got to do to
Murdy.
Contribute to society, whether it's work or school.
Do your part.
But then Yeah, have fun. Don't forget to have fun.
Seriously.
Don't forget to enjoy life. It's fading every day, but you can enjoy every day.
What's that meme? It's like a guy talking outside of a club and he's like, there's so much hurt and pain in the world right now, but not in this room. That's cool.
I haven't seen that.
He also said that the ladies are beautiful and the drinks are flowing in the middle of that. But, the concept stands. There's lots to be bogged down by, and there's lots of things that are worth caring about. But you're only one person, and Murdy is staring at me frighteningly, honestly. Yeah. There's also lots of, like in my immediate surroundings, there's so much to take joy into. And I never want to lose that gratitude.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Balance, people. You want to outro us?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, wherever you are. You can catch Dish on Twitch as Dish. You can catch her on YouTube as Dish.
And Dish Creates.
Low
key. That's better. My better channel right now.
You can catch me, spros_comics, on all the socials and all the platforms.
Spro.
If you're interested in comics or comic book movies, let me be your guy.
Or good takes.
Or really hot takes. I don't know.
I like your takes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased, but I think you have good takes most of the time.
But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.
Bye,
and
guys.
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. I'm Murdy. Here, I'm going to play a song for you.